The Music of Ponyville by Grass and Clouds 2. Chapter 9. Bonds. The Everfree was dark and spooky and mean. Octavia grunted as she stumbled over another half-buried rock. Fluttershy had shown them a path, a grassy trail 2 ponies wide, without too many trees or boulders in it. But the going was still slow. The ground was strewn with sharp rocks, twisting roots that seemed to want to reach out and snag her hooves. And the sides of the paths were full of thick bushes and trees that painfully snagged her coat, mane, and tail. Visibility was low. Strange noises came from everywhere, and the thick tree cover completely blotted out the sky above. It felt, the cellist thought, like they were descending into a deep, dark cave from which there might well be no escape. Biting back a cry as another branch caught in her coat and gave it a painful tug, Octavia carefully extricated it, then shifted her right saddlebag to try and better protect that side of her barrel. She had volunteered to carry some of the food and medical supplies that Fluttershy had offered to bring along. At the same time, she had worried about the added weight sapping her strength, but now she wished even more bags, or maybe some clothes, to stop the foliage from poking and tugging at her. It had been over an hour since they had entered the forest, and she had lost count of the number of scratches she picked up. "You doing okay, Octavia?" called back Vernal. She had volunteered to take point, along with Fluttershy, and was keeping them on the right path. "Is this pace right?" "I am fine!" The walk was strenuous, but Octavia refused to slow the group down on her account. "I am able to maintain this pace." "Great!" Vernal turned to Fluttershy. "This forest sucks, though. I am totally complaining to the Ponyville tourism board when we're done." "We don't even have a tourism board," said Medley. She was behind Octavia and Lyra, flying next to Bluenote. "Good point. Let's tell the mayor to make one for me to complain to." Bluenote laughed. "Everfree's not that bad," she said. "Just needs a little work. Expand the path a little, put some fender stands and water fountains in, maybe make a little park. Hey, Fluttershy, isn't your dad in the House of Commons? He should propose it." Octavia blinked. "Your father's in the government?" asked Fluttershy. "But as I know of him, what's his name?"
"Fenrir Posey."
Fluttershy's voice rose a little in pride.
"He represented Calsdale Providence for all my life. He's the best pony in the Commons."
"Did he inspire you to be an activist?" asked Octavia.
"Oh, yes. He told me that ponies who have a lot are obligated to give to ponies who don't have much,"
said Fluttershy.
"It's our purpose. When he was a foal, one of his classmates couldn't fly because his wings were very brittle. So while all the other foals got to fly around, all that pony could do was watch them from a cloud. My dad wanted to help him, so he taught the rest of the class into making a park. They saved their allowances, bought this cute little cloud at the ends of Cloudsdale, and sculpted a little cloud playground."
Fluttershy let out a soft sigh.
"One day, I'm going to have helped as many ponies as my dad."
Octavia said nothing for a long moment. She knew it was wrong of her, but she could not help but feel slightly worse at the thought that she, a noble heir, had failed in her duties to help others, while a commoner had already surpassed her. "That was a lovely glow, Fluttershy."
"Thank you."
There was a crack from further ahead in the forest. Fluttershy sprang back and forth, shaking in fear.
"Something's ahead of us."
Vernal's horn lit up like a street lamp, shining a beacon ahead into the woods. There was some squeaking. A bush rustled. More Franken's cries. Then a ferret danced out of the bushes.
"Oh,"
she said,
"just a ferret."
Octavia paused, then increased her pace until she was even with Vernal and Fluttershy. "Would you like me to take point?" "So far I've only been a pack horse," she thought. "I've barely contributed at all. If I can do this, I can at least ease Fluttershy's worries a bit."
"Whoa!" said Vernal, holding up a hoof. "No offense, Taffy, but Fluttershy's on point because she gets the animals and can ask them not to eat us."
"You're also on point," pointed out Octavia, "and you cannot talk to animals."
"Yeah, but I have, like, epic levels of awesome."
Vernal grinned, somehow managing to look cocky and smug, despite their grim circumstances.
"As for you, I mean, you've got maybe a few levels of awesome, but not quite epic levels, you know."
Octavia looked at her blankly. "What?"
Please, do not ask us to qualify also, said Medley. We'll be here for days.
Nah, just a few hours, said Vinyl. But anyway, I'm good at this. I'm strong for looking around on my sound gear, and fast for running away with mobs with adoring fans, and agile because I have a jungle gym in my house. Octavia wondered about the third point, but pushed it aside. I want to help, she said. You can help the most by carrying the extra food and medical supplies, said Vinyl.
No, don't you see? Medley flew out to the front of the pack. That's not enough for Octavia. She wants to take the most dangerous, prestigious position so she can feel like she's really contributing something. Even if she's not, she's just putting us in more danger because, of course, this mission to save the world is really all about her. Octavia turned to Medley. I don't care about what you want, said Medley. She flew ahead of Final and Fluttershy. What? Is carrying luggage too insignificant for a noble like yourself?
Hey, hold on, said Bluenote, hurrying forwards. We're all working together here. No fighting, she smiled. If we all get along, we'll be much more likely to succeed.
I'm trying, said Medley. But if she says something stupid, just so she can feel better about herself, I'm going to call her on it.
Can we please stop fighting?
Whispered Fluttershy, eyes staring around.
Please, we'll attract monsters and...
As he spoke, she took another step forward, and the ground shifted another on her hooves. Suddenly, the ground collapsed, sending the four non-Pegasi and Fluttershy tumbling into a pit. Octavia opened her mouth to cry out, but found it slammed shut as he hit the ground. Ow! Everybody okay? Asked Vinyl. She groaned softly. Dang, that hurt my flank. I'm fine, said Lyra. A petty trap like this can never stop me for long. Okay, over here, added Bluenote.
I'm okay,
Whispered Fluttershy.
but I want to go high now.
Shoulder, instructed Lyra. She struggled to her hooves, pressing a dark liquid that filled the bottom of the concealed pit. It buried Fluttershy's hand on her left shoulder. Head on shoulder. Nothing can hurt you here, Flutters.
Thanks.
Octavia got up, trying to shake the liquid off, but it was quickly coagulating.
Does anybody recognize what this stuff is?
No clue, said Vinyl. Can't go still.
You girls okay?
Octavia looked up to see Medley, peering down from the top of the pit. They weren't that far down, but the poor lighting made it hard to see.
I think so,
called Octavia.
Good, because I hear some pony calling. She paused. A lot of ponies, actually.
Octavia tried to raise a hoof to start climbing out of the pit, but she couldn't. Looking down, she saw it was stuck fast in the now concealed liquid.
Can I pony move?
She asked, trying to keep the pang from her voice. There was a furious struggle, after which Bluenote said,
Uh-oh.
Fluttershy let out a cry, but Lyra wiggled so the yellow pony was pressed deeper against her. Breathe, she said. Don't worry. We'll figure this out.
You girls need help, called down Medley.
Yes,
said Octavia, biting back a sarcastic reply.
It's not obvious. Of course we need help.
No, said Vinyl.
Medley growled something. What is it?
Vinyl ignored Octavia's glare. She spoke, her voice more serious than Octavia had ever heard a day. Who's ever coming is close enough for you to hear them. You're not going to have time to pry all 5 of us out of here first. Plus, you might get stuck too. There's no bones or carcasses here, so whatever they catch is probably root for the pit and take it somewhere. Follow us there. If you get a chance, try to free us, okay?
Are you sure?
Asked Medley.
What are you doing?
Hissed Octavia.
We could be in.
Octavia. Vinyl twisted her body to look at Octavia. You asked us to trust you earlier when you wanted to come with us, right?
Yes.
Trust me now, she grinned, winking at Octavia. I know what I'm doing. She looked at Medley again. Follow us, then free us. Got it?
All right. Hope you know what you're doing.
Medley jumped into the air and took off into the woods. In a few moments, several pony-like forms appeared at the top of the pit. Their bodies were black, and their coats slightly wavy. They were covered in a thin film of liquid. They snarled at the ponies below with obvious pleasure. Octavia gulped. Octavia gave it her all, but the thick post that she was affixed to was no easier to escape than the pit had been. With a sigh, she stopped struggling and stared weakly in front of her. The sight gave her little hope. The monsters had transported the cactus for about a mile. At which point they found themselves in a collection of 40 or so wooden buildings. There were dozens of monsters, some going into and out of various buildings, others hissing to each other on the paths between them, several tending to a large fire in the town center. A few of the monsters, bent and shriveled with age, sat in rocky chairs on porches, watched the struggling ponies with obvious amusement. About a dozen full-sized ones, sticks and stones stuck to their coats, scampered about. There was no sign whatsoever of any ponies, or any other creature that might help them. I wonder if the little ones can't control their sticky powers yet, asked Bluenote. The monsters had transported them by forcing them onto the backs of the 5 biggest members of their group and immobilizing them. Their coats seemed to have the same properties as the liquids in the pits, and none of the ponies had been able to move their lower bodies. Maybe that's why they're all messy. Who cares? Wondered Octavia. She looked up to the sky, but no sign of Medley. I think I know what these are, said Lyra. Somehow, she twisted herself about so Fluttershy could keep her head nestled securely against her. I've heard legends about them. Black-coated equines, sticky coats, sharp teeth. These are kelpies. Octavia didn't care much what they were called. Does any pony have any suggestions? Working on it, said Vernal. Hey! Yelled Lyra at the kelpies. Hey, you! You think you can stop us? You'll never stop us! Monster heroes like us eat monsters like you for breakfast every day! The kelpies looked at each other. You might stick us in a pit. You might tie us to a post, but you'll never crush our spirit! Roared Lyra. The kelpies paused for a moment, then burst into fits of hissing laughter. Octavia hung her head. Lyra, that does not help. Don't give up, said Bluenote. Things have a way of working out. Her voice was warm and comforting, but it couldn't overcome the dire signs that Octavia had observed. I fail to see how. Medley will be back, said Bluenote. She chuckled softly. She's pretty reliable, trust me. Hops normally, but I once knew her to fly through 3 miles of sleet and snow, after even the post office was shut down to bad weather, to deliver a package of sheet music to a foal who needed it for a competition. She doesn't back down. Octavia wasn't sure how to respond to that. I hope you're right, she said. She did feel a little cheered by that info, but only a little. The fire flared up. A few kelpies trotted over with some fish on their back and began to toast it. Within moments, the food was cooked and the monsters dug in. Octavia leaned as far away as she could from the sharp teeth and ripping sounds. She found herself wishing that she could also cry on Lyra's shoulder. Here they come, murmured Vernal. Get ready. 3 kelpies approached the villains and began to gesture to one another. Octavia, seeing them drool a bit, guessed they were picking which one to eat first. She shut her eyes.
Mom, Dad, Medley, Viola, I'm sorry. I tried at the end. I really did.
Steps approached. Slimy, sticky hose pressed on either side of her. She felt the sticky liquid attaching to her to the post dissolve. She didn't open her eyes.
Maybe it'll be fast.
Hey! Ugly!
Octavia looked up, and that was when she saw Medley fly down and body slam the nearest kelpie. Octavia, having lived a relatively sheltered life, rarely seen any pony fight. She had certainly never seen any pony fight like Medley. The green Pegasus punched one of the other kelpies, sending it tumbling backwards. The third grabbed at Medley, touching her right wing and then yanking itself back. Medley was thrown sideways and hit the base of another building. The kelpies approached, but Medley hopped to her hose and decked the nearest one and fell backwards. There was a brief span of silence. Then the kelpies swarmed at Medley. The mare jumped into the air, flying to the top of a building. The roof was made of long, thick branches. She grabbed 2, and then swooped back down and began beating the kelpies left and right. They couldn't reach her to immobilize her, and she rained blows on them with aplomb. Several fell back.
Fluttershy! Said Vernal. We need you right now. You okay?
I'm scared.
It's okay, said Lyra. Her voice was warm and comforting. Octavia noted, as when she had offered to shell its hot circle earlier. We're going to be okay. Fluttershy shifted.
What is it, Vernal?
You're a vet. These are animals. Got any idea where these things might have a weak point? Something Medley can target? One of the kelpies climbed onto the top of a hut, and as Medley passed, it jumped at her and tackled her to the ground. No sooner had they hit, though, than Medley reared back and threw her into a nearby hut. The kelpie swarmed her, this time too quickly for her to fly away, and the fight resumed.
Under your front shoulders,
Called Fluttershy.
Medley, they're weak where the front legs meet their shoulders.
How can you tell?
The way they're bouncing, posture, size.
Fluttershy sounded embarrassed.
You work with enough animals, you learn these things.
A kelpie brushed against Medley to stick to her, but Medley twisted around and began beating on the now trapped kelpie. Another ran up and grabbed her other leg, stopped her from using it. So she turned and headbutted the second kelpie. It fell backwards, and Medley was free. Another one kicked her in her back, and she butted it in the face. Both fell for a moment. Then the fight continued. Octavia winced as Medley took hits. She was fighting hard, and several kelpies had fallen back to nurse their wounds. But there were so many, and for every one Medley knocked down, another took its place. She can't us up! Sure she can. Meddlers might not be the speediest Pegasus around. That's Rainbow Dash. Or, the strongest. That's probably Raindrops. But she's got more stamina than any other 3 ponies. It's nearly impossible to take her out. Octavia shook her head as best to her help. She couldn't believe it. I could help, she thought. Her mouth opened slightly as she prepared to yell to Medley, to give up on fighting alone, to come over and free her so she could join in. Octavia figured she could throw a strong punch or kick, so she could help defend the team and... Before the words formed, she forced her mouth closed. No, I am not a trained fighter. Freed, I most likely be a liability in this situation, she sighed to herself. I want to help. I want to save others. But this is not about me. I will not let my selfish desires interfere with Medley's work. She doesn't need to beat them all, added Vernal. Just enough that... Wait for it. Medley dove under the beacons of her attackers. A huge kelpie with riot stripes died on his sides. She once kicked up, striking him squarely under his shoulders. The kelpie's legs were dislocated, with 2 loud pops, and it fell backwards, yelping and groaning in pain. Medley rose to her hooves as the kelpies backed away from her. She was bruised, bloodied, and battered, but she just waved a hoof menacingly at the masters. All right, she growled. Who's next? There was utter silence. The kelpies looked at each other, faces nervous and unsure. The kelpie foals had all run for cover and were hiding behind bigger ones. Any pony at all? She approached one in the circle, and the kelpie scurried backwards. A few of them tripped over a fallen kelpie that had been knocked down by Medley's hooves. How about you? She pointed at a kelpie, which yelped and ran behind another. Or maybe you, over there. More silence. Fine. Glad we can understand each other. Medley dusted a hoof at the other 5 ponies. Feed them, now. The kelpies didn't seem to speak equestrian, but somehow they understood. A few minutes later, the party was moving away from the kelpie village, deeper into the Everfree. They had been released from the posts and cleansed of all traces of the kelpie liquid. With the exception of Medley's injuries, Octavia thought, it was like they had never seen the kelpies at all. That was awesome! Crowd Final. You kicked so much flank you used to get some special horseshoes! Yeah! That's like deserving a ballad of itself. The Tale of Medley versus the kelpies! Medley grinned. Oh, I had some help. Thanks for the tip on the soldiers, Fluttershy. Fluttershy blushed. She was applying ointment to Medley's wounds as they walked, with Bluenote helping her to hold supplies as he used them.
I'm just glad we were in.
Octavia approached Medley from the other side.
The kelpies were about to meet me when you intervened.
They were going to eat all of you.
I mean, they were about to eat me specifically. I know you despise me. You believe that the team is weaker for my presence. You could have waited a few moments for them to deal with me, then proceed with rescuing the others. Nevertheless, you saved me. Thank you.
Of course I did. Medley turned to look at her. No, I don't like you. But I'm not going to abandon some pony I'm working with, even if I don't like him. It's not who I am, and I definitely won't let another pony get eaten if I can help it.
I know you're not accepting my apology, but please, at least accept my thanks.
Octavia bowed her head. Medley inclined her head. Accepted. She cracked a grin. Next time you get yourself trapped by pony monsters, send me a note. I'll knock some heads. Lyra grinned. Yay! Friends? I wouldn't go that far. But then Lyra was squishing them both into a gigantic hug. And despite their desperate circumstances, Octavia could not help but, for that single moment, feel happy and safe. Chapter 11. Beast. Careful, said Vinyl. There's a sharp curve up at the head. Octavia nodded and thanked the DJ for the warning. The forest had grown more and more overgrown since leaving the Kelpie village, until there was barely enough space on the paths for them to walk single file. The trees pressed in around them and blotted out all but the faintest glimmers of light that managed to penetrate the thick canopy. Vinyl's horn in the front and Lyra's in the back provided just enough light to see by, but they could not come close to fully illuminating the forbidden forest. Such, the DJ's careful scouting the path was proving invaluable. Can we stop soon? Asked Bonnie suddenly. Her stomach rumbled. I think we could all use a snack.
We have plenty of food,
said Fluttershy. She sounded a little calmer since escaping the Kelpie village.
I packed apples, oranges, celeries, lettuce, bread.
I packed 3 boxes of Bonbon Caesar chocolates, said Lyra. I knew I'd need them for a special occasion. Octavia cast an anxious glance into the canopy. She wished she could see in the sky. If the sun and moon were warring, the position of the celestial bodies might have some indication as to who was winning. Unfortunately, the foliage was so thick, not even the Pegasi had been able to work their way through the branches to breach the canopy. We have no way of knowing how much time we have, Octavia thought. For all we know, we are almost out of time already. I think we should continue on a little bit before resting. For all we know, the sun or moon has already defeated her sister and is already on her way to our location. I agree with Tavi, said Vile Scratch. Come on, girls, let's keep rocking a little longer. Oh, said Bluenote, though her tone indicated she wasn't all that upset. She tapped a hoof against a gigantic tree, set up against the path's curve. Well, let's keep an eye out for a comfy clearing. We'll need to keep our strength up if we want to make it to the castle. Octavia began walking a few paces before she realized something strange. Taken back, she turned to Bluenote. Could you please do that again? What? That tapping motion you made. Bluenote frowned, but raised her hoof and tapped the tree again. This time, Octavia was listening for it, and clearly heard the tap. It wasn't the dumb thud of something striking a piece of bark. It sounded sharper, like a plaque or a sign. What is it? Asked Lyra. This tree. Vinyl, Lyra, could you please illuminate it? The two looked at each other. Then Vinyl tried over. You got it, she said. Her horn flared up, and the shadows drew back from the tree. Whoa, that's a big sign. There was an ancient sign affixed to a tree, at least 3 ponies tall. It towered above the group. Had it not been for the dismal lighting conditions, Octavia knew they could have seen it 50 paces away. I did not know this forest was inhabited. What's it say? Vinyl said, squirting. That test is just a bunch of random squiggles. Octavia took a closer look at the line. It took a few moments, but she remembered where she had seen the characters like that before. No, she said. The first line is in Dia. She looked at the next, a collection of sharp scratches. That is in Griffin tongue, below that comma. You speak all those languages? Asked Medley, raising an eyebrow. Just Dia, but I recognize the others, part of my education, before I went to study with the princess, was in diplomacy and foreign relations. I know what the characters of most of the major tongues on the continent look like. Octavia's gaze reached the bottom of the sign. That last line's equestrian, she announced. Beware the beast of level 3.
Beast!
Guess what, Shy?
Oh no, not another beast.
Don't worry, Flutters, said Lyra. We'll kick its flank. Well, okay, Medley did all the flank kicking last time, but this time we'll help. Octavia looked back at the sign. I know enough Dia to get by, she said, and I can at least read some Griffin. She checked the first 2 lines again. They both said the same thing. Beware the beast of level 3. Some pony wanted to make sure whoever came by got the message, said Medley. Lyra laughed. What message? That it's time to be awesome? Let's go fight a beast. We have to save the world, said Octavia.
We do not have time to hunt monsters. Yeah, said Vernal. But we happen to stumble across it. We might need to fight and get past. And DJ Pone 3 has no chances of that, she grinned fiercely. Come on, team! Nay. Octavia blinked and looked to further past. A cloaked figure was approaching them. It was a quadruped, but beyond that, Octavia could not make out any other details. Excuse me. Nay, replied the cloaked figure. Ponies like you should not be here. He the sign that says beware. Vernal blinked. Okay, wait, who are you? You may consider me a friend who wants you to meet and eat at your end. Before you lies a monstrous beast who aims to make you his next feast. What kind? No time for talk, no time for words. Perhaps this beast has already stirred. Indeed, the 6 of you must run before your mortal lives are done. Tech exchanged glances for a moment. Vernal eventually said, Look, we appreciate the warning, but we're not pretty awesome, but we kinda got a job to do. We need to get through these words. Traverse the forest if you will, but this one path will bode you ill. The figure's voice grew more flustered. I do not know what else to say. The beast ahead, eager to slay. What beast? Snapped Medley. Another copy. Bear, lion, what? Well, not a bunch of fools, whoever you are. We can take care of ourselves. The figure sighed, then slowly removed her cloak. She had black and white stripes, and wore golden jewelry. There was also a large package on her back. Octavia remembered seeing a few creatures that looked like her while at Candlelight Castle. A zebra, she whispered to the others. Hi, Sakura! Oh, hello. Whoa, awesome stripes, said Vernal. The zebra ignored this. She opened up the package and removed an instrument Octavia did not recognize. It had the neck of a guitar or a lute, but its strings extended further down to a protruding base like a harp. Continue, and you will die soon. I play my chord, changes your tune. Without further ado, she strummed it. The sound was low and flaunting, combining the twang of a guitar with some of the lighter, ethereal sounds of a harp. After a few notes, all soft and low, the zebra began to sing. Gather, pony travelers, I have a tale to tell. It might just save your lives, but only if you listen well. For on this ancient forest path, next to the red oak tree, there's a sign that says beware, the beast of Everfree. She began to play faster, keeping time by stomping one hoof on the ground. Octavia moved to go around her. But Vernal stuck out a truth, barred her away. She's got infinite useful information, the DJ murmured. Octavia paused, then nodded. Meanwhile, the zebra continued. Now some say he's an octopus, a fall through in the sea. But he ate so many ponies, now he's bigger than a tree. His tentacles like iron chains, his teeth like sharpened knives. And if you think he's ugly, wait till you see his insides. Fluttershy squeaked.
Okay, we'll go another way.
Hey, Lyra gently embraced her. Come on, world's at stake. Yeah, I'm not scared. The zebra shook her head and continued to sing. Now don't you sail and don't you row, and certainly don't you swim, for if you aren't careful you'll end up inside of him. He'll eat you up and spit you out, you'll never more be seen. So heed the sign that says beware, the beast of Everfree. I don't believe it, said Medley. Body-sized monsters, fine, we saw that. But something that huge, where would it even come from? How would it get into the woods without being seen? The zebra sang. Some say he's a monster whose terror was begun, thanks to an invocation of the mighty burning sun. Now some say they don't believe it. As for me, I have a hunch. For the nightmare had some soldiers here, but he ate them all for lunch. Now don't you sail and don't you row, and certainly don't you swim. For if you aren't careful, you'll end up inside of him. He'll eat you up and spit you out, you'll never more be seen. So heed the sign that says beware, the beast of Everfree. Octavia shook her head. We don't work for Nightmare Moon. We only want to get through the forest. We can't stop now. Simply no. Almost on a check. We certainly gotta get going. Real strong, said Medley. That beast also scared us. Well, Sorcerer, you heard of him. He went to Everfree. He seen the need of some components for his ancient alchemy. He saw a crystal in the lake and reached to grab a trace. There was a crunch and a scream. She paused for a moment, and Octavia could only hear silence. Even the forest animals seemed to be enraptured by the performance. His next project was checking if the hoof could be replaced. Now don't you sail and don't you row, and certainly don't you swim, for if you want to carefully run up inside of him, he'll eat you up and spit you out, he'll never more be seen. So he decided, says beware, the beast of ever free. Octavia opened up her mouth to say something else, but the zebra raced along, drowning her words in music. And the black-maned pirate, you know for what he's feared. It's mostly for the dark opposing color of his mane. He met the beast, and now no pony's scared of him because his mane turned white, and it was so pathetic he had it paused. Everybody, now don't you sail and don't you row, and certainly don't you swim. For if you aren't careful, you'll end up inside of him. He'll eat you up and spit you out, you'll never more be seen. So he decided, says beware, the beast of ever three. We get it, said Medley at last. We don't have a choice. Now get out of our way if you're not going to contribute.
The zebra's just trying to help,
Karen Fluttershy.
maybe we should listen to her. I don't want to get eaten up and spit out.
Fear not, said Lyra, for I will protect you. Octavia said, if nothing else, the foster may be out foraging or asleep. We should at least examine the area before giving up entirely. I think we should keep going. Final pause. Okay, vote 10. She looked at the group. All in favor of going in? 5 hooves raised in the air. A few moments later, Fluttershy brought hers up as well, though it was obviously sinking. That settles it! Final thrust a hoof forwards, pointing down the path the zebra had come from. Onwards! If you do not heed my song, yelled the zebra as they passed, death will find you before long. Yeah. Death comes up, we'll just buck you in the face, said Final. Bye. They passed her by and continued into the woods. Within 10 minutes, the path opened up onto a long beach. The sight was so startling that Octavia could only stand and stare. The beach was a long, wide strip of sand that ran as far as she could see in either direction. In front of it was like a vast lake that vanished off into the distance. It was dark, but Octavia could see just well enough to tell that the lake was absolutely large. Walking around that could take hours, said Medley, looking around. Any point got bright ideas for crossing? You and Flutters could carry us, said Lyra.
I'm not that strong,
whispered Fluttershy. Files shook her head. Real idea. Fluttershy, you know the foliage, right? Any trees around here we could turn to a nice raft?
There's a few we could try.
As they talked, Octavia approached the lake. It was calm and tranquil, a welcome respite from the noisy, oppressive forest, not to mention the chaos that had occurred in Ponyville earlier that evening. Looking into the smooth surface of the water, Octavia felt like she could just sit, stare into it and be recharged. She couldn't imagine that any sort of beast lurked inside. Hey! Octavia turned to see Lyra approaching her. You okay?
I think so.
Octavia smiled slightly.
This is not what I expected when I first arrived in Ponyville.
We're not usually this exciting, said Lyra.
I hope I'm not delayed the team too much.
You've been fine, really. Lyra playfully slapped Octavia on the shoulder. Trust me, if you slow us down, Medley or Vine will let you know. Hey! The mares turned to see Vine waving at them. Want to help us cut some wood? Of course, called Octavia. She turned back to Lyra. We should go back. She smiled slightly. I do hope somebody on this team knows how to make a raft. I do, said Lyra. I've read every book on how to be an adventurer and how to go on every heroic quest in the Ponyville library. She beamed, just in case. Octavia chuckled. Ha ha! I should have figured. She glanced up at the sky, relieved at being able to see it again. It looked all right. She wasn't exactly an astronomer, but most of the celestial bodies seemed to be in their proper place. The moon was full and bright, stars twinkled around it. She paused, narrowed her eyes. What? Were some of the stars moving? That wasn't right. Meanwhile, Lyra had bounced into the air. She kicked some sand into the lake as she landed again. We need to get some wood that floats, vines, seaweed, or something else to pack into the cracks in. The water began to slosh more violently. Octavia and Lyra looked at each other and began to back away. Lyra began Octavia, speaking as loud as she could. I think the beast may be here! The water began to splash over the edge of the beach, drenching Octavia and Lyra as they continued to back away. Whoa, said Vinyl. Octavia, Lyra, run! The water parted,
A form rose, and the sailors gazed upon the feast of Everfree. Octavia felt her hose freeze, as her head tilted back as far as she could. The thing, that was the only word she could come up with, was absolutely massive. It rose into the air, 8 times her height at least, and 4 times as wide. Its mouth was as large as a 1-story building. Its filmy, yellow eyes were as big as Octavia's body. Its slimy squid-like body, they were all so large that Octavia found it difficult to even accept what she saw really existed. A few tentacles rose out of the water, thick as trees and almost as tall. Drops of water the size of bowling balls splashed down the 2 ponies, soaking them both. Octavia shuddered.
Kraken!
Gasped Lyra.
Octavia, it's a kraken!
I don't care what its name is, was Octavia's first and completely honest response. Whoa! Octavia turned to see Final. Girls, run! Octavia bent back a response that was along the lines of, duh. Lyra, come on! The 2 ponies began to race back towards the tree line, as the 4 other ponies hurried towards to meet them. Final skidded to a halt when he was still a fair distance in front of Octavia. Tommy! Tentacle! Duck! Octavia didn't question this. She simply threw herself flat. Moments later, a tentacle swept over its head, pounding a deep ditch into the sand. Octavia gulped. Had the tentacle hit her, she would have been pulverized. The kraken screeched behind her. Tommy! Get up! Come on! This way! Final yelled. Octavia got to her hooves, and in her quick glance to verify that Lyra was also on the right path, sped forwards again. When the kraken swung a tentacle again, Final's horn flared, and a blast of light and sound exploded into existence above Octavia's head. She forced her gaze away to keep speeding forwards, with the kraken twisted in shock, and its tentacles missed. Octavia grinned. Thanks! You got it! Final's horn glowed, and she sent another blast of light, this time to distract the kraken from targeting Lyra. Come on! Octavia reached Final's position, then turned. Medley had taken to the skies and was slipping near the kraken's eyes. It rose 2 tentacles to block her, but as it did so, it couldn't target the others as well. Another tentacle reached out for Lyra, but Bluenote had reached her first and was helping her onto her back. I getcha! Wait! Said Lyra. Alright! Said Final. Come on, let's start this thing back! Look at that! Yelled Medley. Let's take it out. We gotta cross this lake. Let's see it not to mess with us. Final nodded. Right! Medley! Wait! Yelled Lyra. She was on Bluenote's back, but she suddenly reached around her barrel and pulled up, as if trying to haul up on invisible reins. What? Asked Final. Her horn flashed, but this time she had herself to throw herself one side to dodge the tentacle. Kinda busy! Medley slipped to the trees, now returning with a long stick. Hey, Final, if you light this on fire, I better do a number to Slimy. Right! Final opened her saddlebag. Octavia, blatantly recalling she had posted in the pack mostly pyrotechnics. The DJ flipped 2 fireworks out to Medley, who used them to ignite the stick. Once was encased in a golden glow and yanked from her hooves. Stop! Screamed Lyra. Stop it! Now! The pony stopped for a moment. Even the kraken looked confused. What is it? What's your problem? Haven't you seen how many tendrils that thing has? Asked Lyra. Look at it! It's huge! If it wanted to pound Tavi and I, we'd be pounded! She paused. Girls, it's missing on purpose. Octavia stared. Lyra, it's a gigantic squid. It does not have the mane to... Octavia, stop. The cellist blinked. She had not heard Lyra sound so serious before. Look at it. It could have knocked us all down a dozen times by now. But it didn't. It's just trying to chase us away. It's a monster, hissed Medley. It's not intelligent, Lyra.
Animals are intelligent, said Fluttershy. At least the ones I talk to are.
You know what I mean. Let's see this once and once. Lyra looked around in stride. Well, let's see. She hopped off a Bluenote and tried it out to the kraken. Lyra! Octavia began to run forwards, but Lyra's horn glowed, and Octavia felt herself yanked backwards. Stop! Lyra ignored her. Hey, kraken! She called. You want to eat me? Here I am! She stood in front of it, calmly meeting its gigantic gaze. Octavia stared. She knew that Lyra was nice, of course, but to give the benefit of doubt to such a monster boggled her. Final, she whispered. Trust me, if that thing attacks her, I'm yanking her out of Mark III. Said Final, horn glowing slightly. But the monster did not attack.
Instead, it slowly retracted its tentacles. Didn't almost seem to sag its head. Well, I'll be a fool. Lyra was right. Octavia heard footsteps. Turning, she saw the zebra exiting the forest. She looked at them with an amazed gaze. All right, said Vernal. I think we need to hear the whole story. We wouldn't even have seen this thing if it hadn't shown its head. So why attack us if it didn't want to eat us? Why did you tell us all those lies about it? The zebra bowed her head for a long moment. Then she took out her kora again, and slowly, almost solemnly, began to sing. The forest is so empty now, and it's only you and me. And if you care, I'd like to share how this song came to be. Just a little closer, if you really want to know. This very sad and woeful tale began so long ago. I was a young zebra when I first came to Everfree, and there I spied a creature who was very sad to see, with spikes stuck through its tentacles and gases in its side. This glorious squid was in such pain that I sat down and cried. She was silent for a few moments. I pulled, oh I tugged, but they would not give way. Those down spikes that keep the creature in dismay. So all I could do was ensure that the beast would never see. So I wrote a sign that says beware, the beast of Everfree. She paused. Then his song accelerated to a much faster speed, and perhaps a trace of sarcasm flickering through the notes. Everybody, you know the words! Sing it with me! Now don't you sail and don't you row, and certainly don't you swim! For if you aren't a captain, you end up inside of him. He'll eat you up and spit you out, you'll never more be seen. So see the sign that says beware, I should know, I put it there! Heed the sign that says beware, the beast of Everfree! Bravo, bravo. Thank you, Trixie. The ponies were all silent for a moment. And then, in a tone that broke no argument, Lyra said, We're helping the Kraken! Ready, said Vernal. No, said Octavia, but I doubt I'll become more ready with time. Bluenote laughed merrily, and Octavia could not help but smile. Vernal will be watching. Don't worry. If something goes wrong, she'll poke the Kraken until it pulls you out. Octavia inclined her head. Very well, we can begin. According to the zebra, who heard herself to her as the Sakura, woot. The Kraken was fixed to the sea floor by 3 massive stakes. It was pinned so tightly that it could not lever the spikes up with its trapped tentacles, and the excruciating tops of the spikes were so small that the Kraken couldn't wrap its other tentacles around them to wrap them up. There was just enough space, though, for about 3 equines to pull. As the strongest members of the group, Octavia, Medley, and Sakura were going to be sent down to try. A tentacle wrapped around Octavia's barrel, as he cringed at the slimy sensation. Does it know how long ponies can hold their breath? Vernal grinned. If you're drowning, don't worry. I'll sue the Kraken to build you a monument of awesome. Word of honor. I'm relieved that my welfare is so foremost in your thoughts. Oh, it is! Your memorial will have a life-size cello, except you'll be shooting flames out every hour, and including a guitar that fires flames! Yes, I've seen Mad Max. I loved it. Have you considered simply donating to a charity on my behalf in lieu of learning cellos? Not for a moment. Lyra began to play a miniature lyre that she had brought, along with a rope, console shovel, hard hat, and other gear that she said was essential for quests. Some phoenix down, some health potions, a couple of traveling bread, but no mana potions. For some odd reason, no mana potions seemed to exist. The music was soft and sweet. It seemed to carry Octavia's mind on a light breeze. She felt herself being lulled by it. Lyra, I thought that was for the Kraken. Right! Lyra's horns flashed before restoring his glow, and Octavia felt the music's effects lessen. The Kraken, though, began to lisp slightly as it listened to the music. All right, I'm giving it such a soothing lullaby that, even if pulling the spike really hurts, it won't squeeze its tentacles in pain to squish you two at the waist. Good! Oh, it gets better. Hang on a sec. Lyra tensed, then used her magic to levitate the lyre, and began playing it with both hooves on the strings. The high notes stayed soft and light, as before, but the lower ones formed into a swift, bright melody. "I thought," began Octavia. "Shh," said Lyra. "It's a tough spell. Give me a sec." For a moment, the melody seemed like they were going to run into each other and muddle, but Lyra's horn glowed bright yellow, and he slipped apart again. Octavia's eyes widened slightly as he felt herself seem to tense. It was like the music was energizing and empowering her. Meanwhile, the Kraken seemed completely tranquil. Obviously, Lyra strained, but grinning brilliantly nonetheless. Nodded at Octavia, and the others would be descending. "Okay, you three should be ready. Go be awesome!" Medley whistled. "Two melodies. 1, 2 spells. 1, 2 holds. Nice." She flexed the right foreleg. "I feel like I could take on the world. Nice magic, Lyra." Fire grinned. Yeah, Lyra's cool. "Alright, Fluttershy, tell the Kraken we're ready." Fluttershy conveyed the message. Octavia gulped. At the count, the tentacles would yank her, Medley, and Sakura down to the spikes. Lyra seemed to be strengthening her with magical music. But there were still many things that could go wrong. She could die for the sake of a squid. "But, honestly, it feels good to be doing something for something else, even if it is a Kraken. It's in pain and captivity, and I am trying to free it." She bowed her head. "I should be grateful for this opportunity."
"For your help, thanks once again," said Sakura.
She still looked at the stunned others, while they rallied to help her, but her voice was humble and quiet.
"Forever, I shall be your friend."
"Great," said Bluenote. "On 3!" yelled Violet. 1, 2. Octavia took a deep breath. 3! The first spike was the hardest. The water was cold, and Octavia almost caught and released all her air instantly at the impact. Somehow, though, she hung on to her breath, as if she was hurling down to the sea bread. She hit the bottom within 10 seconds, finding herself staring at an ugly-looking metal handle. Medley and Sakura joined her. They braced their hose around it and lifted as best as they could. They raised it 6 inches before they had to tap the Kraken to signal they needed air. It took 5 trips down to fully raise the spike and send it tumbling away. The second one took only 4, and the last spike took just 3. It was exhausting, painful, and frightening work. At least twice Octavia opened her eyes underwater to see herself hurtling towards a sharply-looking rock. And when it was over, Octavia felt like she wanted to sleep for a week. But when it was over, the Kraken was free. And, as the Kraken gathered up the ponies and Sakura's tentacles and hugged them with obvious love, Octavia felt wonderful.
"Aw, how cute!"
Lyra slipped a hoof across the lake. "Release the Kraken!" she yelled. "You are free! Free as the wind and sun!" Octavia, who was not especially fond of being hugged by gigantic squids, advanced to wiggle out of his embrace.
"Does the Kraken know what did this to it?"
Sakura shook his head.
"It was so very long ago. The villain's name he did not know."
Lyra shrugged. "Well, if we see some Kraken capturing jerk, we can kick her flank. For now, let's move on."
"Where are you going?" asked Sakura, "if you don't mind me knowing."
"The castle," said Octavia.
"The tyrant alicorns are back," said Bluenote. "We need the elements."
Sakura gasped. "The alicorns!"
Such a poverty! Truly, what a tragedy!" She frowned. "The castle is across the lake. To go around, much time it takes."
She looked at the Kraken and gave a slight nod. "It's a shortcut. Can you come with us?"
"Forest animals I protect. Their lives I do not dare neglect. But your journey to the castle, he will minimize your hassle."
The Kraken lowered itself to the water. Octavia noted, with dismay, that they could now mount its head if they so chose. "We could ride a Kraken?" Lyra gasped. "This is epic! This is awesome! No knight has ever had a greater steed! Yeah!" Teared Final. Her serious look was gone.
"Telling the name of my next record. I rode a Kraken. What have you done today?" "I'd break that record," sneezed Bluenote.
Sakura turned to them and bowed.
"I apologize for my resistance, and give you thanks for your assistance."
She then bowed low to Lyra in particular.
"You saw a monster deep in pain, and helped it with no thought of gain. You are the sort that also treasure. A true hero beyond all measure."
Lyra blushed, her face shining with glee.
"Return someday, with quest complete."
Sakura nodded at Lyra.
"I shall give you great treat."
"Hi!" Octavia turned to see Final, already climbed to the Kraken's head.
"You all done? We are got to ride the most epic mount in the world!" "Yeah!"
Cheered Bluenote. The ponies crowded on the Kraken and waved farewell to Sakura. Then the Kraken began to move toward the far end of the lake. Above them, a single star drifted low, then fell out of the sky.